In this video, we'll be unboxing this 3 horsepower Cyclone dust collector from Grizzly. Let's go. That day, pretty much everything that I ordered from Grizzly came, and so I asked 2 of my buddies to come and give me a hand unboxing everything.
What's up, Matt?
What's up?
The pro is here. The pro is here, dude. Oh, shoot, we on camera. I forgot. We're going to put a camera on.
Everything was packaged really nice and tidy. Nothing was damaged during the process. The heaviest item was the motor, and it definitely took 2 people to get it out of the box. The smaller box holds all of the smaller components that you'll need to assemble the dust collector. Most of the components were packaged together nicely. There are some smaller components that were packaged separately, but if you follow the instructions in the manual, you'll know exactly where things go. The second box holds the frame that is pretty much the structure for the whole dust collection system. It holds up the motor and then connects it down to the mobile base. The third box consists of the dust drum and canister filter. They're a lot larger than I imagined, so you want to make sure that when you're unboxing it, just don't drop it or damage it because it's pretty unwieldy. I believe Grizzly offers 2 versions of the 3 horsepower Cyclone dust collector. I chose this version, which is the mobile version, because I didn't have the ceiling height for the stationary version. The first thing that you do is you have to install the casters for the mobile base. There are 2 different bolt sizes. You want to make sure you're using the 1/2 inch size and not the 3/4 inch size. Once that was done, I went ahead and flipped it over and then locked the wheels so that it wouldn't move as I installed the frames. To install the frame, you'll need the 3/4 inch button head cap screw and a fender washer. And this is where I kind of screw things up. There's actually a left and a right side for these 2 supporting legs. So you want to make sure that you are installing it on the correct side. In my case, I did not. Using the drill speeds up most of this assembly process. You just want to make sure that you set the torque appropriately so it doesn't strip out the screws. Once both support legs were installed, I went ahead and installed the locking handle guides using these 2 1/2 inch flange bolts. You'll need 2 for the bottom and 2 for the top on both the left and right sides. The impeller housing is super heavy, so you definitely want to get somebody to help you out. The next day my friend did come and help me pretty much lift it up to the top and then secure it with the appropriate bolts. If you do have somebody helping you, installing the intake barrel would be a little bit quicker. What I ended up doing was I installed 1 bolt and then went to the opposite side to install the second bolt. That secured the barrel in place, allowing me to install the remaining bolts in a star-shaped pattern. For the Cyclone funnel, I was able to temporarily secure the funnel to the barrel with a clamp, and then I went to the opposite side and installed 1 bolt, and then removed the clamp and installed the second bolt. From there, I went around in a star-shaped pattern to secure the remaining bolts. And again, using the drill, I was able to speed up this process significantly. The next part is to install the drum lock handle. It's a little bit confusing. I'll just show you what it's supposed to look like in the end. This is pretty much what it should look like. The key thing here is the white washer. It should be located on the inside, as you can see right here. Using the provided hose clamp, I went ahead and secured the flexible hose to the funnel. And you want to make sure that there's enough flexible hose mounted on the funnel so that the hose clamp can secure it nicely in place. And you want to do the same thing for the drum lid. Next, I'll install the 2-inch casters to the collection drum. The casters are fed through the bottom of the drum, and then on the inside of the drum, you'll tighten it with these hex nuts. All the items that you need to install the hardware for the collection drum will come in a separate bag. For the drum latch, you'll use the Phillips head screw and a locking nut to secure it from the inside. And you'll do the same thing for the other drum latch on the opposite side. For the handle, you'll use the larger 5/8 Phillips screw and the acorn nuts, and you'll use the acorn nuts to secure the handles from the inside. Next, I'm installing the vacuum hose to the collection drum vacuum port using the provided hose clamp. And the opposite side, I'll install that into the Cyclone Final vacuum port. In the end, this is what it should look like. The canister filter is a little bit tricky. If you have a second hand, definitely it'll help you out during this process. I went ahead and just used a chair to lift the filter into place, and then I used a ladder to gain access to inside the impeller where I needed to install the 3/4 inch bolt that would secure the canister to the impeller housing. The next part is to install the components for the filter handle. The first item you'll need is the filter handle spindle, the paddle cover, and then the handle itself. There are 2 cap screws at the end of the filter handle spindle. When you install this to the filter paddle, you want to make sure that the cap screws are aligned with the flat side on the filter paddle spindle. Is located inside the impeller housing. The filter bag goes on pretty easy. You just use the bag clamp and clamp it onto the canister. There you go. That's how you pretty much assemble this G0862 3-horsepower Cyclone dust collection system from Grizzly. It's a mouthful, I know. What I liked about the assembling process, I mean, it was pretty straightforward. The instructions were pretty clear on exactly what you need to do, so you follow the instructions you'll be perfectly fine. One thing to note is I didn't quite read the fine print. So when I went to assemble this, I got these two frames here on the wrong side. So this frame has to be on the other side and the other frame has to be on this side, because the other frame has two mounting holes for your switch. And as you can see, I kind of just use some zip ties. Yep. But it works perfectly fine. It's nice and secure. It's on there, right? I pretty much had this whole thing assembled, and I was at the very last step, which was to put the power box onto the frame, and then I realized that the power cord from the motor to the box is not long enough. So should Grizzly make a longer cord? Maybe. Or maybe I should have just read the instructions more carefully. But anyways, that's the only small little thing that I would kind of point out, is just read it a little bit more carefully than I did. And I haven't done any real world testing in my shop yet because I don't have the ducts running for my dust collection system. But this thing here, this split that Grizzly has, it's filled with gaps. I don't think that it's going to be very efficient this way, so I'll probably just wrap this in some ductwork tape and it should pretty much seal it up. That's pretty much what I have to say about the assembling process. Why did I choose this machine over the other machines out there? Like I said in my other videos about the Grizzly products that I bought, you couldn't really beat Grizzly's price point. Like, most of the machines that were 3 horsepower were nearly double the price. That's really why I chose this machine over the other ones. And some people might say, you know, hey, you get what you pay for. It's a tool, really. In the end, it does what it does, which is collect all the dust, and that's the most important part, is you're collecting dust and you're not breathing it in. So as long as the machine is sucking up all the dust, I'm happy with it. And it is 3 horsepower, so I'm pretty sure it will be perfectly fine for all the machines that I'll be running. One thing that I want to bring up is the motor and the amperage for your circuit. Based on the manufacturer spec sheet, this calls for a 20 amp circuit. Now I ran a 20 amp dedicated line to this machine, so pretty much this machine is on its own circuit. Nothing else is plugged into the circuit. And when I went to turn on the motor, it popped the breaker. I kind of searched the forums and also asked a friend who had a similar machine. What he had to do was upgrade his amperage to 30 amps. So that's what I did, and it works fine now. The only thing is, with the 30 amp upgrade, you have to switch out your outlet. You can't put a 20 amp outlet on a 30 amp circuit. So I called Grizzly and they were able to send me out a L6-30 plug, which is rated for 30 amp outlets, and it's fine. So I don't know if this is just me and my friend and a few people on the forums, but it seems to be a not so rare occurrence. So maybe it's something that Grizzly should look into, because doing a 20 amp dedicated circuit, this should have been fine. I'm pretty excited to get my shop up and running with this dust collection system. Now that I got this fully assembled, I'm going to run all of my PVC pipes to the various tools that I have in the shop, but I'll leave that in a different video, so you want to stay tuned for that. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm interested in hearing if any of you guys ran into the problems that I did when installing this machine, which is pretty much the amperage. If you guys do have this machine, I'd love to hear your experience with it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Did I make the right decision of going with this brand over another brand? Leave them in the comments below. I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Definitely smash that thumbs up button for me and hit the subscribe button, because you want to stay tuned for the future projects that I have going on in this shop. But that's pretty much it. Until next time, this is Bao with Design Craft Workshop. See ya.